Hello and welcome back to a perfectly done, well-edited video. This week's project, I'm going to be getting one of these two 4-horsepower outboards running. The one on the left is a 1977 Evinrude 4 horsepower. The one on the right is a 1975 Johnson 4 horsepower. I don't know the year exactly. I want to say 76, 77. They came out with the CDI ignition system instead of the points and coils. So the one on the right has points and coils. One on the left has the CDI ignition. Electronic ignition, I don't know what you want to call it. If not for that, the engines would be would be both very similar. But because the ignition differences, they are a little different. I'm sure the lower units and most of the body parts will all interchange. The only thing that really won't is the ignition and the lower pan there. So, probably going to be favoring the one on the left here to redo, if you will. I'll show you why. Let's get these carb covers off. Yeah. Carb covers, hoods. Alright, so points and coils, it's perfectly fine. Ignition system. The CDI here, a lot of people are going to like it a lot more. Both ignition systems are fine. This one's a little easier because you don't have to set points, but they're both fine. If you notice here, around the cylinder head, I don't know if you can see it all that well, but it's pretty white and pretty flaky. I don't know what happened. I'm kind of guessing it overheated at one point in time, and then the paint flaked off, and then it sat, moisture got in there, and kind of started corroding the cylinder head, or at least the block. So that's a little concerning. Next thing I notice, the top plug there is just kind of siliconed on. You kind of can't see it, but that's a little weird. Missing a fuel pump. A little weird. Otherwise, the engine's pretty clean, the carburetor's pretty clean, the body's pretty nice. It's missing the little rubber handle there, but no real big deal. So everything can be pretty easily fixed. Pull starter works almost perfectly. This one is a little dirtier. It's not quite as nice. It's probably got a little more life on it, but no paint flaking around the cylinder head or the power head at all. Steering handle is a little loose, so I'll have to get that fixed. And so is the body. Turning it a little tight. So it's a little odd. And apparently it doesn't want to turn all the way around. Get my hood latches down. There we go. So a little stiffer than it should be. Carburetor, it's not bad. It's a little dirty, but it's all there. Knobs are all there. Pull starter. It doesn't quite work that well, but it kind of does. So it needs a little bit of work, but I don't know. For the most part, I think this one's going to be a better candidate than this one would be. But again, don't know. But I'll rip it apart and we'll find out. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull the spark plugs out. Do an ignition spark test as well as a compression test while I'm at it. Done this in the 2 horsepower video, so the process is pretty much the same, only we got 2 cylinders. Anyway, socket's falling apart there too. Pretty wet plugs with a bunch of crud on top. A little weird, but at the end of the world. Same situation at the bottom. So, need 2 spark plugs and probably a decarb. Let's do the bottom cylinder first. No real reason. I'm going to use the Simple Light spark tester now. Find a ground to get it to, and I'm curious who my dog's barking at. Alright, well, it's sparking, so that's a good sign. Now we'll do one other test. So this is called a spark gap tester. This is the way you should be doing these spark tests. Looks like it has no problem jumping that spark there, which is, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch or so. So let's back it out a little more. See how far it'll actually go. That's pretty good. Let's check the bottom. Ignition system's in good working order, so we got no concerns there. Now I'll rotate the engine around so I can get a better pull of it, and we'll finish off our compression test. And I just hit the button, release the pressure. Okay, bottom cylinder, just shy of 90 psi, which isn't bad for these little things. Alright, I got the gauge moved to the top cylinder. Compression, just shy of 90. Realistically, they're both probably at, I don't know, 80. Yeah, looks about right. So that's not bad. Pretty normal for small 70s motors, to be honest. But just for fun, we'll check the its brother next to her, and we'll see what it does. Looking for a good ground for this. Not that easy to find. Okay, let's see what happens. Also, I can't see the spark tester. See it right there? Sorry. So the starter, I wouldn't say works fine, but not bad. So we're a little bit lower. Let's move the bottom cylinder. Starter doesn't sound good at all. So the bottom cylinder, the other one, we're actually much higher, coming in almost 90. So top cylinder, not good. Bottom cylinder, good. Pull starter sounds horrible. Feels horrible too. It slipped there once. So all in all, this one probably got problems. I'm going to go back to using the 77 as my primary motor. We'll rob this one down for parts if we need it. Let's hope we don't. So there's an adjustment screw on the front of the transom brackets or stern brackets that gives it friction on the rotating mechanism. It's all the way out, almost loose. It was like that when I got it. But this thing is still pretty tight. So I don't know what's going on with the rubber little mounts there where it pivots, but they probably need some repair. So worst case, since the bodies are, well, they look identical, I don't know if they are, but part numbers will tell us if they are or not. I can use the body from the other one, swap it onto this one, and use this one's power head and, well, everything from here up onto the other body. And we should be okay with that. Color differences, that's really a problem for me because this is nice, pretty shiny blue. The other one is the forest green. I prefer the blue when it's nice. This one's not. This one's been spray painted, as you can see, but we can get that off. But the forest green color isn't available anymore, and I don't want to paint the entire body, so I really want to use this body if I can. That way I don't have to really paint anything, just get spray paint off. So that's kind of where I'm coming from on that whole thing. But anyway, moving on. Check the gear fluid here. Also, it's notable, this has a metal propeller, the other one's got a plastic. Looks a little milky. I'll let it make its way out of there. You can barely see it. I can barely see it anyway. Okay, hold on. Let's tilt this thing up a little. There, now you can see it. So we got all kinds of muck coming out of here. Not a big deal, but I should probably consider resealing the gear case now. So we'll let that drain out. Probably be a little while. Probably tilt the motor up and rotate it around to get that hole in the bottom and just let it do its thing. Yeah, we've got water and all kinds of weirdness coming out of here. Ah well. Okay, let's get this propeller off of here. Hopefully it comes off without giving us any problems. Usually they do. So last time, I lost this pin. It fell out on the garage floor. And I spent too long looking for it. So to avoid doing that again, I'm going to pull it out now and not lose it. Alright, we got a bunch of fishing line down there. Probably killed our seal, but... Oh yeah, that's way in there. No, not really horrible. It's out now. Damage is done though. Take the lower off. Looks like a 7/16 on both sides. So far, bolts coming out, not any problems. If it was given as, if it was stuck already. That just goes to show you what the future has in store for you. Yeah, a little more rust on the bottom one, but not horrible. Alright, that slid right out. Drive shaft spines look good. Bunch of carbon buildup, not the end of the world. And looks like the same water pump as our 2 horsepower. Well, most of this junk is probably out of this thing by now, so. Just for fun, let's find out where our gear case is leaking. I gotta pry out this plastic whatchamacallit first, little seal, because it always makes the reader think it's leaking right there. Sometimes these get pretty stuck. Let me find something else to pry it out of there with. Yeah, that thing is in there. There we go. Perfect. Now we can screw this thing in. Well, looks like the 2 horsepower. It ain't leaking at all now. Let's throw in some bucket of water. We'll see what happens then. Yeah, need more water. So there's two types of tests you're supposed to do on this. One is the vacuum, one is the pressure. I don't have the vacuum gauge. All I have is the pressure. It is something I should buy, I think. But as it sits right now, I don't see any bubbles or anything coming up. Even while turning. So I bumped it up to about 28-ish PSI, which, you know, it's not supposed to really go to 15. But that's where we're sitting currently. And I don't see it dropping yet. Now, there definitely was some water in the oil. There is no doubt about that one. What a lot of people do when they add flow to this thing is they don't change that little seal on the Gearcase plug. So, when that happens, they need to, and they don't, and it leaks. So I've run it a few times where all you do is change that, and it's fine, but maybe I should order a replacement vacuum gauge next. But anyway, I'm gonna let it sit here for a while, and we'll see what happens. All right, while that sits, I want to get a look at the inside of the carburetor. So I'm gonna pull off the power pack. So I can get to the carburetor screws. Well, at least the back carburetor screw. And the power pack will kind of rotate out of the way. We're going to have to get these knobs off. There's a big flathead around here somewhere for that. So, I thought I was going to have to pull the knob all the way out, but it doesn't quite look like it, or the needle. Looks like carburetor will come off with the top needle on, but it won't with the bottom. And honestly, it'd probably be easier if I pull the top out all the way too. So, see how I didn't put it all the way back in? That's so I can freely rotate it all the way around. And pull the knob out. Now, looking at the needle, it looks fine. So that's good. Don't have to replace that. Set the carburetor back. We're going to have to get a pair of needle nose, pull the cotter pin out here. Alright, just pulled the cotter pin out, a little pin on the choke here. And there's our retaining pin clip thing. Choke knob will come off now. Choke knob's out. Now I need to get a wrench, get in there and pull the carburetor mounting bolts off. Those are usually 7/16. Stay out here. Here's the carburetor nut, at least the first one. Let's rotate the power pack around. Now, I was hoping I could get to this without pulling the throttle roller cam follower off, but doesn't look like that's an option. So, pull off the flat screw, wash her around a little. Now we can get to our bottom mounting method. Okay, bottom one's out. This should slide. Just a little. Power pack out of the way a little more. Fuel line looks like it's stiff. So it looks like I am pulling out the top needle. No surprise. This grommet's old and falling apart, so hopefully by removing it, give us a little more room. Although there is no getting the thing off there without breaking it, so I don't really want to do that. So when I move the carburetor here, it just kind of gets stuck. It's got nowhere to go. I mean, it's almost there. Actually, one side just went, but the other side, it ain't really liking me right now. If I kind of do one of these, force that bottom brass into the grommet. Nope. No such luck. There's still the option of getting that grommet out of there, though. The reason I don't want to pull the brass off, that bottom brass plug thing, is it ain't going to want to go back on when the time comes. So we'll just get a new grommet here, because I ain't dealing with this all day. Perfect. And carburetor is out. And it's a mess down there. Let's get this carburetor apart. See what the insides look like. Carburetor body's pretty clean. It still has the original. I don't know what that seal's called, but that's original too. Oh no, carburetor's not bad. It's pretty clean. We'll get a carburetor kit anyway for it, just because of this bottom seal and the float. All right, well, kind of know what we need to get now. And still no change to our gauge, or any bubbles or anything happening to our lower. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Alright, here I have my 2007 parts and accessories book. Everything in here is very dated, as you can tell, but it all works. So that's usually what I use to look up parts. Don't know why that bookmark's there. So we're going to need, I have enough big hose to go from the fuel fitting to the fuel pump. What I need is a hose from the fuel pump to the carburetor, and that is a 5/32 braided fuel hose. So let's start write it down. Fuel 772 571. Next thing we need is a carburetor kit. So we got a 4 horsepower 4 horsepower 1968 to 1978 is 398532. Excuse my scribbling. And a water pump kit. We got a 4 horsepower, obviously, 1973 to 1980, which is 763735. I don't know what I did there. There we go, that's 5, good enough. So that is the same part number as the little Colt I did not too long ago, so there's going to be no difference in that, but you need to do it anyway. So those are our main parts. I'm going to need an O-ring for the lower and a couple other things. So let's go over to the computer. Alright, here we are on shop2.evinrude.com. Let's go ahead and start our parts. Let's get our spark plug first. So what I do is I select it, or control copy, and then paste it over in the notepad on my other screen. So we need spark plugs. Let's see what else we need. We need some. I already forgot. How much is the water pump repair kit in here? 52? Yeah. Well, anyway, we need this little seal for $1.50. Probably be cheaper when the time comes. So also our top of our drive shaft, we should have had an O-ring. Our water pump kit's going to come with that, so we don't need to worry about it. But good to know. Next thing I wanted to check. If you notice, the 4 horsepower, or the other 4 horsepower, had a little ring around the flywheel here where this one didn't. I wanted to check. They are the same, so we don't need to worry about that. And we don't need any other ignition components, so everything here is okay too. So basically all we're going to need is some 2 spark plugs, that washer, fuel line, carburetor, and water pump kit, and this engine should be good to go from there. So let's go over to boats.net. Start ordering parts. Now you need to use the 7-digit part number here, so we need to put a 0 in front of everything. Keep that in mind. So let's get ourselves 2 of these guys. This is the washer, 70 cents. That's not too bad. Might get 2. I'm not, but I'll just get 1. Usually you'd think, oh, I'll get a spare. Nah, I'm going to lose that spare anyway. I've had plenty of spares, I just don't know where they are, and here I am buying another one. So that ain't going to happen. So there's our spur plugs, our washer. Let's get our fuel line, 0772 571. Now I measured it, and it was just shy of 12 inches, like a 1/16 of an inch. So a full foot of this stuff won't be a problem. And it's only $2. And it's easier to find, just pay the $2.42 here than it is to try to find this weird size over at the parts store. So we get our fuel line. Now let's get our carburetor repair kit, or rebuild kit, 0398 532. And sometimes you get lucky here and you see nice low prices of $18 for the whole thing, so that's kind of handy. We'll get that in our shopping cart. And now we just need a water pump, and that's where things get expensive. And let's get our water pump kit. And that's it. Let's get one of those, add to cart. $67, not entirely horrible. 0772584. I'm gonna get some more ignition wire, just in case I want to build some spark plugs wires. Those looked fine, but you never know. Yeah, my internet's horrible. And that's our total to hopefully get this engine going. 9 cents shy of $70. Alright, well, let's get this ordered and get our engine done.